Hello everyone and welcome to the School of Serenity. In this video, I want to talk about social anxiety and the mental blocks that prevent us from overcoming it. I think there are three main challenges and I'll cover them in this video. Number one, stigma around social anxiety stops us from seeking help. Number two, finding great therapists and professional help is difficult. And number three, healing takes a long time and requires self-discipline. Social anxiety disorder, sometimes referred to as social phobia, is a type of anxiety disorder that causes extreme fear in social settings. People with this disorder have trouble talking to people, meeting new people, and attending social gatherings. They fear being judged or scrutinized by others. It is normal to feel nervous in some social situations. For example, going on a date or giving a presentation may cause that feeling of butterflies in your stomach. But in social anxiety disorder, everyday interactions cause significant anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment because of the fear of being scrutinized or judged by others. I have shared my thoughts about the root cause of social anxiety in another video on this channel. You can check it out by clicking on the link on the screen. Back to the topic of why it is so hard to overcome social anxiety. I think there are three main reasons which I'm going to be covering in the rest of this video. Reason number one, stigma of seeking help for mental health. In this context, stigma refers to unconscious or conscious biases, prejudice, or even discrimination against people with mental illness. More than half of people with mental illness do not receive help for their disorders. Often people avoid or delay seeking treatment due to concerns about being treated differently or fears of losing their jobs or livelihood. This is particularly true about people with social anxiety who are already super concerned about how they are being judged or perceived by other members of society. When someone is self-conscious about what others think of them, it is easier to resort to denial and avoidance. It is convenient to distract ourselves by engaging in destructive behaviors like overeating, drinking, and playing video games rather than going through the discomfort of seeking professional help. Stigma is a manifestation of our egos. What I mean by it is that ego creates for us a persona over our lifetime and wants us to protect that image at all costs. Ego is all about security and preserving the status quo. Many times, that image or persona is not even close to what we truly are deep down. It is a mask that we put on that is heavily influenced by what others, including family and friends, thought we ought to be or to do. Ego exists not only at the individual level, but also at the societal level. In fact, our individual ego is to some extent a reflection of our collective ego. Every complex system, including society, has a collection of fables and legends which summarize its belief system. As a member of society, we start to identify with these cultural stories, in other words, the collective ego. We start to internalize them passively as if they were true. One of such collective beliefs is that strong people need to feel happy at all times. Feeling stress and anxiety or admitting to have such feelings are looked down upon. Our collective ego creates a strong stigma around seeking help for mental illness. This is because It convinces us that socially acceptable behavior is to put on a brave mask and pretend that we are enjoying life even when we are not. Of course, we know that this is a lie, and in fact, nobody's life is perfect. I would actually argue that those who pretend to have perfect lives are the ones who suffer the most. Reason number 2, finding great therapists and professional help is difficult. The best approach to deal with mental health issues is to seek professional help. And instead of going at it do-it-yourself style, it is more efficient if we lean on people who have years of experience helping others with similar challenges. However, finding great therapists and professional help is difficult. Finding a proficient therapist is a bit like finding a good mechanic. You need to try different ones, and unfortunately, you will not know which one is a good match until you have worked with them. Technically, you can rely on reviews on the internet, but working with a therapist is very much a personal experience. It works the best when you click, so to speak, with your therapist on a personal level. Another big challenge is that it is hard to know who has the right experience and background to help you with social anxiety issues. While there are many great therapists out there, there are also ones that just have the academic qualifications to practice, but not much relevant practical experience. In fact, I've met many therapists who have not been able to deal with their own mental health issues. So it makes it hard to rely on people who do not have the hands-on experience to solve a challenge you are dealing with. Reason number 3, healing takes a long time and requires self-discipline. This is the inconvenient truth about social anxiety that not many people want to hear. The fact is that social anxiety usually has deep roots within our psyche. To unroot our negative and limiting beliefs takes a long time and requires self-discipline. This is why many people give up too early when dealing with social anxiety. Another aspect of dealing with social anxiety is that there are many vicious cycles that tend to lock us up in the black hole of social anxiety. I have discussed some of these vicious cycles in one of my past videos linked here. Do check it out. It is good stuff. Social anxiety is the result of many years of bad programming ingrained in our subconscious. It is unreasonable to expect to undo all the negative programming in a few therapy sessions. It takes time and conscious effort to go through the discomfort of identifying our limiting beliefs and healing them. Sometimes we have wrong expectations because we are constantly bombarded by marketers trying to sell us quick fixes. But the reality is that healing social anxiety is a process and a journey to itself. Self-discipline is another factor in this equation that is usually overlooked. Though most people acknowledge its importance, few do something to strengthen it. Particularly in modern fast-paced life, we are surrounded by distractions that are competing for our attention and chip away at our self-discipline. Healing social anxiety requires us to face our limiting beliefs and push ourselves out of our comfort zone. It is an active and conscious process that requires self-discipline. I hope that you liked this video. If you have any suggestions or feedback, please add them in the comment section below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Stay serene, take care, and thank you.